We know when we think about drivers, releases are often every year. This company released their first prototype driver in 2020. 5 years later, we have a second edition, and the first edition, it drives just like this. And we're obviously talking about a Takomo driver. So introducing the brand new Takomo Ignis D1. So 5 years in the making. Is it going to be better? I've certainly liked the old model. A lot of people didn't like the old model. Let's get into it. Now, first of all, when we look at this driver, we do see there are 3 interchangeable weight ports. So we can change this driver. We can have it low spin, we can have it draw, we can have it fade. And we do also have the traditional sleeve on there, so we can make this club more upright, we can make it flatter, we can add loft, we can take loft off. So a lot of things in this driver, but for me straight away, very minimalistic. So we can see that we've got some good looks on this driver, exactly what I would expect. But how is it going to perform? Because we know that this driver is going to be affordable. We know Takomo is an affordable brand. And guys, obviously we know the first edition of this Ignis driver, the prototype, or the cowbell as I like to have christened it, for me performed well. Not many people bought it, and a lot of people said they didn't get on with it. But this needs to perform. Obviously we've waited 5 years, and for me, I never have a glove when I need one. But when we think about companies, obviously we think about your Pings, your Callaways, your TaylorMades. They're going to be bringing out a new driver every single year. We know pretty much Ping might do obviously every other year, but we've gone from the QI10 to the QI35. We've gone from the AI Smoke to the Elite. We know we're getting something every year. Takomo, we don't know that. And for me, that puts it very much like another brand we're going to talk about shortly. But let's get this first hit away there. Straight away down behind the golf ball. It does look a little bit smaller behind the golf ball, which I do like. Straight away there. High, a little bit fadey. Be interesting to see where that comes down, because it wasn't a good strike. And straight away there, from the off-centre strikes on this club, we want to know how much distance are we losing, because we do now have a variable thickness face, so we do have some changes there. So ball speed should keep up across the face. So has that still got a good distance on it, or has it dropped back, let's say 30-40 yards of where I would normally be on this golf hole? We're going to get some numbers on the next tee, guys, but the company I think these are like are Miura. And you might think Miura costs thousands of pounds and Takomo don't cost thousands of pounds. But Miura often bring out a club when they feel like there is improvement, when it is going to make a difference to your game.
You nailed that.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely, and the Finnish and the Japanese could be best friends.
Exactly. So they are bringing out clubs when they feel like there is improvement. So you're not going to see something every year just for you to buy, because they want to keep the money coming in. They've waited. The irons, it's taken maybe 3 or 4 years for irons to come out, and we're still in the waiting for that. But the wedges, the Skyforger wedges, just released. Again, they've waited 2-3 years, and they've made a massive improvement. They look better, they perform better, and price-wise, they've still stayed pretty similar. So they're not obviously going, right, it took 5 years to develop, so we're going to throw that cost up $200-300, £200-300. Again, looks-wise, one thing that is interesting, mid-handicap Dave will love this, is the arrow in the middle of the face. So again, an alignment aid to try and help you get that ball in the middle of the face. We've got the same carbon-esque look, but let's see if I can find the elusive middle and get it performing like the cowbell. Well, I'm certainly putting on a performance with this. So that's up the left-hand side. We've had a fade, we've had a draw. Now let's get it down the middle. But one thing we will discuss in this video, so we're going to compare it to the cowbell, is I did have a 3-wood shaft in that. But let's talk shaft, because they have upgraded, we'll get it the right way around, to the Ventus Fujikura shaft. So again, we've got the blue, we've got the red. Blue's going to be a little bit less spin, it's going to be a lower launch. We go into the red, that's going to get a higher launch, a little bit more spin, but a premium option. So again, we're getting premium components from Takomo. They've changed from the hazardous shafts, they've gone to another premium product. Now that is out of the middle, so we've seen the full array of shots on this tee. That felt fantastic. Sound-wise, doesn't sound as loud as the previous generation, so they have changed that. They have changed the acoustics, they have changed the internals in this driver, and that's one of those things. Are you bothered? Are you bothered about the sound, or are you more bothered about how it does going down the middle of that fairway? Are we hitting more fairways? Are we still getting distance? Let's get some numbers and see exactly how far this Ignis driver is going. So guys, you can see down the right there, that was the first shot. So misstruck, hasn't gone as far, but interesting, the last ball we hit has carried the canyon just behind us, and it's maybe gone 10 yards further. So 10 yards further from a well-struck one to pretty much an extremely heely one that went high and spinny. The second one,
should we talk about it?
Is lost in the wilderness, which is going to happen. Again, obviously, club face control, I've turned that over, I've pulled it left. But for me, obviously, the interesting thing is that a spinny one and not a great shot has only even lost 10 yards. So very interesting there performance-wise. We are getting consistency off-centered hits. Again, the improvements over the years on that variable thickness face are helping us potentially all round. Okay, so let's take a look at, obviously, Generation 1 and prototype. So some changes, obviously clear changes here. We did have the movable weight on the back of the original Ignis D1 prototype, but we can see they've certainly changed it around. We could have draw and fade bias, we could change that weight, but obviously we do have a much sleeker look for me. And very interesting, behind the golf ball, it's a very different shape, and like James said in his review, who's chief cameraman today, no sign of Bob, he did mention that it looks very tightless looking. Not with the finish, but certainly with that shape. But let's hit a couple up here now. Let's get some numbers with the Golf Joy, because we want to obviously see exactly how far we can get this driver. This driver now has a full length shaft in there, so I'll put the phone down for the numbers here, and they will be on screen as we hit. So full length shaft, can we get this up to 300 yards, which is what I would expect from a well-struck driver. Around about a 280 carry, 300 yards, anywhere around there would be good. Let's see what we can do. Right, straight out of the middle. Does sound very ping-esque as well there, but that is right up the middle. And numbers wise there, we're looking at 278 yards carry. We've got a 296 yards with a 2,700 spin. So straight away there, off the bat for me, that is performing right up there with the likes of the Cobra driver, the Strixon driver that I've been using this year, and right up there with your TaylorMade's, Pings, and Callaways, I have to think then, and even your PXG that I was fitted for last year. So one more now, can we repeat? Well, that was toey, so it'll be very interesting. A little drop there, that's straight up the middle. Fantastic flight there, because this is set at 10.5 degrees. But numbers wise there, a toey one, a little less spin, so 2,100 spin, 283 carry, going 301 yards. So was it worth the wait? That is the big question. The answer clearly is yes, because those numbers are performing exceptionally well. A toey strike, I haven't hit one out of the heel there, so it'd be interesting to see, obviously, as I go through and test this over weeks and against the drivers, do we lose a lot? And again, when mid-handicap Dave gets this in his hands with a Ventus red shaft, and hopefully we'll put a bit of sellotape on the top, then we'll see how that does. But if we compare this now, I'll hit a couple with, straight away there, you can hear the sound difference when I've just knocked that there. Look, if we go off here, when this is the, so a very different sound. This is not a scientific test by any means in this.
Do the face as well.
So two totally different sounds there. So very interesting, very scientific test there. Again, my golf spy, I'm sure they do exactly the same as that, to be honest, in their testing. But now looking down at this, obviously I'm used to this driver, but that driver does look a lot better behind the golf ball. Different sound, different ball flight. Again, numbers wise there, just up the left. 272 running to 290, so again, just sneaking up to 2,900 spin, but that's exactly what I would expect from that shorter shaft. Still performing well, still doing exceptionally well. One more. And I mean, that's a top. We can't blame the golf club for that. Not the best shot. 50 yards carry, I think, is a little bit generous there from the Golf Joy. But guys, very interesting there from Takomo. Huge improvement. So we're obviously looking at this thinking Takomo are known for their irons. Will we see the likes of Grant Horvath and the Bryan brothers, who are now obviously heavily invested part owners of Takomo, using these clubs? Will we see a review from them? Because I think it's performing well. I like the last generation, some people didn't. It is all down to obviously personal preference, but for me there, numbers are performing. We've got premium components, we've got a lot of changes to that club. So has it been worth 5 years? Yes, it has. Has the price changed? It hasn't drastically changed. It's still pretty much half price or 2/3 of the prices of those tailor-made. So are you going to look for this driver, guys? Are you going to be trying to get hold of the brand new Takomo Ignis D1 driver? For me, I think it'll be going in the bag and replacing the original prototype cowbell.